you for tuning in for the Little Radio Show Digital Extras. In episode 42x, we bring you a continuation of our conversation with Dr. Angelica Perez-Litwin. My name is Sandra Fernandez, and I'm joined by my co-hosts Juan Alanis and Angelica Casares, and we're bringing you small talk about big topics. To find episode 42 and the rest of our episodes, check us out at thelittlерadioshow.com.
But the other thing, Angelica, that you mentioned that is very important is that I've noticed that there is a shift, like psychologically, that happens when you see a group of women in an auditorium and they're watching a group of Latinas as panelists or speakers on stage. And these are women that have made amazing, wonderful things. That, they're just doing amazing work. I think that there's something that happens, and it almost gives us permission to say to ourselves, yes, I can do that. I can do that. She did it. I can do that. I don't think it has the same effect if it's a woman that does not look like us, who doesn't have a similar story like ours, who hasn't walked our path. So there's something very powerful, and it's beyond role modeling. It's not just like, oh, they're great role models. Mm-hmm. There's something beyond that. I'm trying to figure out what name to call it. But for now, I'm thinking it's just like, it's just watching these women there.
Yeah, I like
them so approachable. It gives us permission.
You're right.
Permission to be.
I love the way you use that word. I love the way you use that word. It is definitely permission. It's an inviting conversation without anybody telling you anything. As you hear them talk, and you're like, and you just, for whatever reason, you associate very quickly and drastically when people look like you and are talking in phrases and terms and things that you do understand, and that it is beyond, the regular same old from, as opposed to an active community who is talking about, what, now I see where you got this name from bigger things. Bigger prospects, bigger ideas, things that we are making that change, and we can have that say so, and we are leading these conversations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think there's also something very powerful when it comes to connecting around stories. Stories are so powerful for us, especially the Latino community. We have stories handed down from our abuelitas and our parents. And so when we hear another woman sharing a story that feels like my story, there's a very powerful connection that happens. And I think that's the magic, that when we can sit there and watch other women and interact and talk, even when, during networking hour, some of these women are so humble, Nina Vaca, for example. I mean, she's one of the most humble, beautiful human beings out there. She's just so ready to look at you in the eye, smile, and give you all of her attention. And I think those interactions are very powerful.
Well, I think you've definitely struck a chord, and I think the fact that you understand that you struck that chord and you understand what that chord is really what's probably led to the success of this group.
Yeah, I think so too.
I must agree, Juan. I must agree.
So, because I don't want people to walk away with the idea that this was not hard work and not, it didn't take, a serious commitment on your side, I'd like to ask you the question of what have been some of the biggest challenges or lessons learned that you have from creating the group, so that people out there understand that this is about trial and error.
Not by accident.
What have been some of the challenges that have happened for you along the way?
So one thing that, if anybody knows me well, that they know about me, is that I never use the word challenges or failure.
Okay.
What I use is, I call it data.
All right.
So, yeah. So
what
data.
have been some of your data opportunities?
I like that.
Yes, exactly. Because entrepreneurship is really all about the data you collect and the pivot. That's what entrepreneurship is about. So seizing opportunity, collecting the data, and then pivoting if it needs to be. So, one of the things that we learned when we launched we have a membership site, and we wanted to do these digital office hours, and we're still doing them. But what we learned, which was interesting to me, is that women don't want to just go into a digital office hour, which is really a teleconference, it's kind of a teleconference mentoring hour. They don't want to be one amongst a small group, especially if you're not, in face to face, So the virtual experience of being in a group on a phone call and asking questions openly didn't quite, do it for them. we still have them. We're still running them. But what we found out, based on that data that we got from the women, is that they wanted something more personalized. And so I think that the if you can listen and you can really honor the feedback and the data, I think that is really what's going to help your company or anything you do, quite frankly, in life, help you grow and move it forward. And so we continue to do digital office hours, but not as much as we were planning to do. We wanted to do like 10 of them a month. Now we're like, wait a minute, we're just going to do 1 or 2. But definitely continue with this more tailored approach of what women want. In terms of other challenges, if you want to call it like that for discussion purposes, I think that we have grown a little too fast than we expected. And so there are, it is challenging to be able to sort of manage everything that's going on at the same time. You can't sort of stop either, because sometimes you have to strike while the iron is hot, as they say. So you want to keep the momentum, but you do want to be careful that you don't grow too fast. That things continue to have high quality, which is very important to us. Content is, the panelists, the events, the content that we're sharing is curated well, is good quality, that people are feeling like they're getting what they need. All those things are very important. So that's been my data that I've collected.
Well, it sounds like you've created a group that's really, really focused on providing support to Latinas, to each other, as far as when it comes to success in business, success in personal life, success in careers. And that is wonderful. I absolutely applaud you for that.
Thank you.
Is there any parting words you'd like to, anything you'd like to share before we wrap up?
Yeah. So since we are talking and focusing so much our conversation on this online community, as I see it today, I think there's no better time to be whatever it is you want to be, or do the kind of work that you want to do more than this time right now. I think technology, and especially social technology, online, social channels, social media channels, they are really offering us such a tremendous opportunity to do so much with so little. And so, I think that if there's something, whoever's listening online, on the radio show, if there's anything you want to do, think about how technology can help you achieve that. How, all the different, from the apps and the software, if you can leverage that, especially social media, how can those tools and resources help you achieve what you want to achieve? And the other thing I always say to everyone, the next thing you need to do is show up. You have to show up. You have to launch. You have to put yourself out there, take the risk. It is in those experiences that you find that magic sauce, that you find yourself, you find what you really want to do, and find that, figure out a way to do it right,
Well, what a great thing to tell us at the end of your interview. I'm looking forward to having you on the show again.
And we'll have to come back again.
Yes, and absolutely. We'll figure it out, in another 8 months. It'll take us again. But thank you so much. We do appreciate you joining us. And we'll be providing links to all of the resources that we mentioned today, the Latina Think Big Facebook group and website, and etc. on the show notes.
Thank you, Angelica. I feel like I was on a little seminar just now.
I know, so thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day.
I love it. Well, thank you, all of you, for having me, and it is a pleasure chatting. I love your radio show, and I can't wait to listen.
Thanks again for tuning in to the Little Radio Show, where we're bringing you small talk about big topics. I'm your host, Angelica, and I want to invite you to visit our iTunes channel to leave us a rating and a review. It's a really great way to show us your supports, and we really appreciate the love. Find the link on our iTunes channel at thelittleradioshow.com.